First and 10 Buccaneers.
Usually at this time of year.
Intercepted over the middle by Husain Abdullah.
Husain Abdullah is playing football, wearing number 39 for the Minnesota Vikings. And his older brother Hamza
Abdullah let out some aggression,
wearing number 23 for the Arizona Cardinals. But this season, instead of covering wide receivers,
intercepted, yes, Husain Abdullah.
The Abdullahs are covering miles, lots of them.
Whose idea was this?
I'm not taking credit for it.
27-year-old Husain Abdullah and 29-year-old Hamza are two of just a handful of Muslims in the NFL. Both are free agents and say they turned down contract offers this season in the prime of their careers to make a pilgrimage to Mecca. The timing of the trip is determined by the Islamic calendar. This year it's in late October, so the Abdullahs decided to spend an entire month of their free time before the pilgrimage in a minivan.
You seem right at home back there.
Well, I've been doing this for 30 days.
Along with older brother Abbas, the Abdullahs headed out on a late summer cross-country road trip, visiting 30 Islamic mosques during the 30 days of Ramadan.
What was the reaction from your teammates when you told them what you were doing?
There were a few people who were kind of taken back by it, saying, you know what, you can do that later.
That's typical of Hamza, doing what most people wouldn't do.
Matthews is more of a slot corner.
Cardinals wide receiver Early Doucette was Hamza's teammate for the last 3 years.
I'm pretty sure there's a few guys that saying he's probably crazy for putting a hold on his playing career, his job, his livelihood.
How much of a risk do you feel like taking a year off in the middle of your career is?
It's a big risk because no one knows what's on the other end.
How do you feel about the decision your brothers made to take a year off?
Actually, it was one of the best decisions of their actual life, not just career, because they're saying they want to do whatever is possible while they're young.
And just being an American, what's more American than a road trip?
The Abdullahs left their homes and families in Southern California July 20th, drove up the West Coast, over the Rockies and across the Northern Plains, through Toronto, New York, the South, and back west again, stopping in places like Lubbock, Texas, and Silver City, New Mexico, with the simple goals of promoting tolerance and doing some good.
I think we've had people that they want to argue with us, but in our nature, in Islam as a Muslim, you don't argue, especially over religion, because we're not here to convert anyone.
What's going on, big guy? How are you?
Every stop was a chance to make an impact.
You good to your mom? Are you sure? Yeah. I want you to make sure you're listening to your mom, you understand? Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
And an opportunity to dispel misconceptions about Muslims and their religion, Islam.
You see some of the things that are talked about as Islam and Muslims. They need to see us walking the straight path, so they say that is Islam. One of the sites that we visited, on our tour stop was New York and the 9/11 spot. And that's a very touchy subject when it comes to Muslims and Islam in America. There's a stigma about Islam in America. People are wanting to know what's going on inside these mosques. But the reality is, you probably know a Muslim. If you've seen Husain, you wouldn't get scared of Husain. He's a nice guy. He has a family. He has kids. The more I educate myself, I find that most of the Muslims are just like that.
Make sure you look sweet.
At most of the stops, they spoke to kids, some who were Muslim, many who aren't.
You carry yourself like these dudes can't touch me at all. But the only way to have that attitude is if you put in the work.
These players, if they stand with good characters and good personalities, they set good examples for our youth.
In Lexington, Kentucky, the Abdullahs were so moved by a non-denominational event organized for their visit, they say they stayed up all night answering questions.
There's a ton of serious questions from marriage, about being in the NFL and what goes on in locker rooms and the lifestyle, and how are you around that and keep your Islam. And then there's questions, who's the toughest receiver to guard? How is it being with Brett Favre?
In Denver, they served meals to the homeless, and again stayed a lot longer than planned.
We were scheduled to stop at a Denver rescue mission, and we were going to stop there for an hour, and then we were going to go to the mosque later on and have our usual talk. And there was a big billboard outside that said, "You can feed me for $1.92. Here I am in Denver looking for the 5-star hotel, this 5-star dining, and you know, I want a $50 steak, and here this little girl can eat for $2. I had missed football up until that point, but then when I saw those faces and seeing those people, I knew that's exactly where I needed to be.
You have to wait till...
Oh, this is Ray, boss? Oh, man. You try, man, look. You calling audibles. Come on, Peyton Manning.
In 1 month, the Abdullah brothers covered 12,000 miles.
Yeah. But my thing is, boss, what are you doing? You can't be testing these airbags out like that.
Ain't nobody testing airbags. I'm testing the brakes.
We don't need to test the brakes after 15,000 miles.
3 guys on a goodwill tour.
I still have some shortcomings, you know. I mean, I was like, you know, I'm not perfect.
Nobody is. When you get a chance to travel, you get to see things for yourself. America is a beautiful country.
The Abdullah's next adventure won't involve a minivan. In late October, the brothers plan to make their pilgrimage to Mecca, something all Muslims are required to do at least once in their lifetime.
Your trip to Mecca, what are you expecting it to be like?
When you go to Mecca, everybody, whether you made $10 million last year or whether you made 1 penny last year, everybody's going to be wrapped in 2 white garments. That's it.
Oh, Akbar.
It was a dream of ours when we were young, and now to actually see something and be able to, God willing, accomplish something that we've read in the Quran, that we've talked about, that our parents have taught us from a young age, you know, it's mind-blowing, to be honest with you.
And what's the plan when you come back?
The plan when we get back on it and really just train, and then try to catch on to a team.
So you guys would like to catch on to a team later this season?
Oh, definitely. That has never escaped us. We're constantly working hard. It's been tough working out these last few days, but we missed that strain, that struggle, the pain of hard work.
What if no one's interested?
Hamza was a 7th-round draft pick, and he was released. I was undrafted coming in. I had to force my way in. So if we have to do it again, so be it. If it happens, all praise to God. If it doesn't happen, all praise to God.